Hi, welcome to Joey's yoga joint. So listen, this SI joint business, it's a big deal if you have a problem. It's no deal if you don't have a problem. But just to explain a little bit of anatomy, because I'm sure some of you or most of you have already been to chiropractors or masseuses and masseurs. It's good to know your own body. The thing about the SI joint is that the lower back and the sacrum is like an inverted V, okay? So you got this sacrum, and I talk about this. We press our sacrum into the floor, and the lumbar spine is actually going into and under the sacrum. Now, so what? So what? So what? Here's the so what. This part of the body is designed to not move, or even just a little bit. So what happens is, if we don't, and by the way, the SI joint, which is the sacrum and the ilium, and when you think about the ilium, think pelvis, okay? Because the ilium's part of the pelvis. And the very spot of your SI joint, just so we really know what we're talking about, you know how you have that little dimple in your butt? That's called your posterior superior iliac spine. The front is called your anterior superior iliac spine. So when I talk about keeping your hips level so you don't spill out of your pelvic bowl, those are your, you got more, you're gonna need more room there, love. That's what you wanna keep level. So, you know, I'm hoping that sooner or later we join the dots and we really start to know what our body is made or how it's constructed, I guess. But also too, that's where your SI joint is, all right? Now, you might have pain on one side, but the problem is on the other side, and that's not our business. That's gonna be your body worker, whoever you go to figure that out. Also too, the SI joint is like a padlock, all right? So there's your lock, and a padlock, it goes in like that. And when we're standing, it locks. It's in the locked position. So typically, if you have an SI joint problem, you probably feel better standing than you do sitting. Listen, and the other thing, of course, and I say it all the time, posture, posture, posture. If we're not standing properly, we're being cool, and we sit like this, and we type away, and we can't see the screen, and so we're like that. We have to pay attention to this stuff, truly, and then avoid whatever potential problems there could be. So I think that's all I want to say just to begin with, but this joint is all about stability, and yet we still want mobility. So when we're moving today, I want you to think about moving the pelvis, especially on the twists, okay? The twists are what create the mobility, but we're also gonna strengthen this area. But what we're gonna do first is warm it up. Now, speaking of warm, I think this, I'm gonna make sure this is off. Okay, we got it turned down, so it will cool down. Okay, so let's start on our backs, please. And what I want you to do is interlock your fingers. Your legs are going to be straight out in front. Okay, interlock your fingers behind your head and bring your legs together. And the first thing I want you to do is just press your left heel away from the body. So not the toes, press the left heel away from your head. So you're pressing through your left heel. I'm going to hold here for a few breaths. So this is stretching out the area of the sacroiliac joint. Okay, release. Let's do the same side again. Press through your left heel. So your foot is flexed, pressing through your left heel. Now, if you're really paying attention, you can tell that we're getting into this area. So the SI joint is supported by really strong ligaments. And release. And these ligaments like to be stretched, but they don't want to be overstretched. So let's now do the other side. So press through your right heel. Your right toes are pointing up to the ceiling. You're pressing through your right heel. Your foot is flexed. The right foot is flexed. Your left foot isn't doing anything right now. Pressing through. We're doing for about 5 breaths. And release. And let's do the right side again. Press the right heel away from your head. Pressing through the right heel, your right toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. And release. Okay, part 2. We're going to do the same action with our feet, starting on the left side, pressing through the left heel, but simultaneously, we are going to bring our left elbow, so same side, left heel, press through your left heel, and then press your left elbow up and away. So they're going in opposing directions. Your left elbow sliding up, and your left heel pressing down. So we're stretching through the SI joint on the left side. Breathe. And release. And one more time, press through your left heel and bring the left elbow up. So they're going in opposing directions. You know, clearly the SI joint is like the size of a quarter, but it can be a major pain in the butt if it is irritated, overstretched, unstable. So poor posture, listen, you can have an accident too. A sudden movement can dislodge, displace, or aggravate an SI joint. And release. Okay, wow. All right, let's take a deep breath in. And let's go to the other side. Press through your right heel, and bring your right elbow away. Slide it up, slide it up. You're pressing through your right heel, and your right elbow is sliding up. Breathe. And release. Do that one more time, please. Pressing through your right elbow and reaching your right heel away, right elbow reaching up. So it's a sliding, gliding movement that helps to relax the myelin sheath. And the myelin sheath it wraps around the nerves. This opens up the blood vessels and helps to relax connective tissue. Okay, and release, 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 release. Okay, so now we're going to do inverted cat-cow. So bend your legs and place the soles of your feet on the floor. Arms are beside your body. So to begin with, we're going to tilt the pelvis up and we're going to press the lower back, the lumbar and the sacrum into the floor. So you're not going to hold your breath, you're going to breathe here. While you're pressing your sacrum, that inverted triangular bone that is over top of your lumbar vertebra, very, all designed for stability, especially when we're walking. So obviously if you had an SI joint problem, you'll see it in your walking or feel it if there is an issue. And release. And now let's reverse. Let's tilt the tailbone into the floor and bring the lumbar, lower back off the floor into what we would call lordosis. So again, these are gentle stretches for the muscles, the ligaments. So the piriformis and the glute muscles, the butt muscles, these guys all cross over the SI joint. So as I say, it can be tricky sometimes to know exactly what the problem is, but an SI joint, as I said, is the size of a quarter, and if the nerve's irritated, it could spread down your leg, and then release. And let's do one more time. Tilt the tailbone up, press your lower back, your lumbar, your sacrum into the mat. Now your shoulders are going to stay on the floor, of course, here. It does engage your core, but we're not focusing on that right now. We're focusing on the lower back, the lumbar area. So this can unwind tension from joint spaces, and again, the connective tissue. It also lubricates and mobilizes that area. And release. And then one more time, bring the lower back off the floor, lordosis. So we see people walking around, sometimes people with a big belly, they might be leading with their stomachs, and you'll see that, what we call a sway back, that's lordosis. So there's too much curvature in the lower back, but we're just stretching out this area. Okay, and release. Draw one knee up, and let's draw the other knee up. Oh, and just gently rock from side to side. You're rocking on your sacrum. You may wish to make some circles. Let's see if we can get this. So this is a lovely little massage for this area. So check out the spots that are enjoying the massage. Okay, take your arms out to the side, shoulder height. Arms can be palms facing up or down. Put your knees together, make your thighs perpendicular to your torso. Now lower your left knee down to the floor. Just your left, just your left, just your left. And then let the right follow after your left knee is down. And let them both land together. Inhale just the right bent knee up, just the right. The left is going to follow. You don't have to think about it. And let that right knee lead the way. Keep your knees wide apart, as wide as possible. And then gently let that right knee float down to the right side and let the left follow. And just hang out here for a moment. This is a beautiful stretch. A little bit different for that SI joint area. Inhale, lift your left knee up. Keep the thigh perpendicular to your torso. Slowly, as slow as you can, roll on your sacrum, that upside down triangular bone, and let your left knee drop to the left side, and the right follows. Inhale, the right knee up. Forget about the left. Keeping the thigh perpendicular to your torso, gently rolling on your sacrum, bringing good blood supply into this area, and lower the right leg down, and the left follows. Now, aging really is an aspect of dehydration, and I don't just mean water here. I mean, and I do also, water's super important. In any form, you can get it through your vegetables, through your fruits, but we still need to drink water. But the idea here is, as you lift your left knee up one more time, and we're just going to do this one more time. Take that left knee over to the left, let the right follow slowly, and both knees connecting. So you can think about yoga as hydrating, as lubricating, so that there's better movement. So there's sliding and gliding, not grinding and crunching. Because as we get older, if we're not mobilizing the joints in our bodies, that's just what happens. Bodies turn into old jalopies and they sputter and make noise. Inhale, bring your right knee up. Last time, the left's gonna follow. Keep your knees wide apart and let your right knee fall to the floor, left on top. And hopefully your lower back is starting to feel tip-top magoo. There'll be energy in that area. And if you have an SI joint issue, want you to be super careful today. We're gonna do some back bends. We're gonna do some forward bends. Back bends are typically easier for people with SI joint problems as opposed to the forward bend. Inhale, bring the knees back into the center and hug your knees into your body just for a moment. One hand on each knee. And again, just make little small rocking movements, maybe small circular movements, just checking in to see how it's all feeling. So we have two options to come up. And of course, I'm giving you these two options because I don't know if it was last year, I think it was 2 years ago, that I slipped real good on some ice and hurt who knows what I hurt at this point because it doesn't hurt anymore, but it was in this area and I felt that rolling over onto my side didn't hurt as much as rocking up to a seated position. So if you're gonna rock up, your hands are underneath the backs of your thighs, and if you're rolling over, you're gonna use your top hand to push yourself up. I'm never really grateful when I hurt myself, but I also am grateful because then I can understand when other people have problems. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know what that feels like. Okay, so come on over onto your knees. And as I said in my note, gratitude is such a great attitude. I know there's always stuff going on in everybody's lives, mine included. Roll back onto the soles of your feet and just let your upper body hang over your thighs. But if we can focus on what's right and not what's wrong, and just sort of be grateful for even the littlest, smallest things, and let your head hang and then slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, keeping your chin tucked into your chest and letting your head be the last thing to come up. Now, the last couple of weeks, we did focus on upper back. And just as a reminder, because I know you can do those classes anytime, but whether you do or not is another story. And it's okay, I get it, we're all busy, and you'll do it when you're ready. But take your arms behind your back, interlock your fingers, and pull your wrists down. Because if you don't have time to do a class, this is a great reminder. Make sure your head is back, okay? And you can just take a little walk on your mat. Just take a little walk around your mat. And notice what this feels like compared to what your posture is normally like. Now, of course, our arms aren't towards the back this much, but this is just a beautiful reminder to get our shoulders back and our shoulder blades down and our heads back. And then release your arms. We all feel a little more open. And this opens our heart. Okay, so I'll stand right in front of the camera. Hi, everybody at home. All righty. So inhale, we're going to do our half sun salutations. Next week, we'll go into the full sun salutations, but I'm also finding that there's great benefit. And I think it's just good for us to anchor the half sun salutations. So your feet are about hip width apart. Heels lining up with your sits bones lining up with your SI joints. See how it's all starting to connect? Beautiful thing. Okay, press your big toe mount, your baby toe mount, and the center front of your heel into your mats. And then just let your toes relax. They don't have to do anything. Engage your thighs, lift up on your kneecaps. When you do that, again, you'll notice a shift in the pelvic bowl. And if you want to, feel your anterior superior iliac spine, your posterior superior iliac spine, Okay, aces, in front, posterior and back. They should be level. You don't want your iliac spine higher than your front. So then you're nice and level. You're not spilling the contents of your pelvic bowl. Lift your sternum away from your pelvis. Shoulders up, press them back and down. Inhale, sweep the arms up, reaching up. Turn the palms out, exhale. Float your torso down onto your thighs. Bend your knees a lot. Tent your fingers on the floor. On an inhale, lift your hips up. Try to keep your belly glued to your thighs here and let your head hang. And it doesn't matter if you straighten your legs or not, but please relax your neck. Exhale, bend at the knees, drop your hips, press your shoulders back and lengthen your spine. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up and overhead. Palms come together, then turn your palms out and float your arms down, taking up lots of space. Inhale, bless you. Exhale, bend your knees, drop your hips, tent your fingers just outside of and in front of your toes. Inhale, let the crown of your head go right down and shine your tailbone up. And exhale, float your hips down. Bending your knees a lot. Feel your belly on your thighs, maybe even your chest. Now push your shoulders back. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up. Exhale, float your arms down, taking up lots of space. Inhale. Turn the palms out. Exhale. Bend the knees. Fingertips tented. Inhale. Let the crown of your head float down. Shine your tailbone up. No tension in your neck. Now bend your right leg. Keep your left straight. Right leg bent, left leg straight. Place your right hand on your left instep. Inhale. Sweep the left arm up. Now this is the first, standing twist. Think about your pelvis moving as well as your spine. Exhale, float it down. So that's one thing I want you to focus on today. Bend your left leg, straighten your right leg. Place your left hand on your right instep. Inhale, sweep the right arm up. Pelvis twisting, not just the spine and the shoulders. Pelvis is twisting. This is what keeps your SI joint happy and healthy. Exhale, float it down. Let your head hang, knees are bent, slowly roll up. One vertebra at a time. You're coming up like a rag doll. And the last thing to come up is your head. Inhale the shoulders up, exhale, and roll them back. Okay, so we're going to do a couple standing postures. Standing, because we've done some stretching of the SI, and it's actually not the joint that we strengthen, it's the ligaments that we strengthen. So standing pose, so remember I said at the beginning of the class, when we stand, it's like a padlock. That joint is now locked. Okay, so step your feet about 3 to 4 feet apart, and then turn your left foot 90 degrees forward. So you're going to turn sideways on your mat. And whoever has socks on, I hope your socks have stickies on the bottom. Otherwise, you won't feel solid on your, what they call sticky mats. Okay, now your back foot is pointing about 60 degrees forward. Make sure your back foot is pointing forward so that the heel of your back foot is further back than the toes, okay? And then you have an alignment of your heel going through the arch of your back foot. So we're gonna do Trikonasana first. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Okay, so legs stay straight. You're not bending anything. Legs should be 3 to 4 feet apart. Junie, left foot pointing 90 degrees forward. I'm looking at Lizzie here. So, yeah, left, you got it. So legs are going to be really straight, and it's much easier if your feet are a little further apart to pull off your triangle pose. So if you can, take your feet just a little further apart. Now, engage your thigh muscles and press into your baby toe mount and the outside of your back foot. All right, now you feel really firmly rooted. Inhale, sweep the arms up to shoulder height. So your torso is sideways, but you're looking over your front hands. Lower your shoulders, look over your front hands. Now, reach forward over your front foot. Don't reach down, just reach forward. Reach forward, forward. And now hinge and let your front arm fall inside of your front leg and reach your top arm up. So Junie, come up a bit and keep your front leg straight, so you don't lose the integrity. Imagine that both of your shoulders are up against a wall, one on top of the other. Nice, everybody. And because you have to balance a little bit, focus your gaze, perhaps on the floor. And now bend your front knee. Bend your front knee. Keep your torso up. Keep your torso up. Reach up with your top arm. Reach up with your top arm. Energy is up. Front leg bent, Parsvottanasana. You're going to take that top arm and reach it over your ear so that you have a line of energy from your back foot right along the side of your body and through your right arm. And you can lose that bottom arm to push your bottom knee away. Reaching and stretching. Inhale, come back into triangle, and then bring your arms back to shoulder height. Lower your arms, give your legs a good shake out. Now, is it warm in here? Should I just open this door? Okay, 1 second. Get some fresh air. So set yourself up for the other side. So now your right foot is 90 degrees forward. Well, I had my left foot there before, so now it's my right foot 90 degrees. It's okay. You know what? As long as you're doing the other side, we're all good. Okay, so for me, I have my right foot 90 degrees forward now and my back foot 60 degrees. Okay, engage your thighs by lifting up on your kneecaps. So, feel solid here. Make sure your back foot slightly pointed forward. Excellent. Inhale, sweep the arms up to shoulder height. Keep your sternum lifted. Keep your shoulders down and your neck long. Now reach over those front toes. Reach, 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 reach. Keep your front leg straight and then hinge. Don't go too far. Keep your front leg straight, Junie. Front, yep. And bring that front arm inside your leg. Don't overreach. Don't overdo it. The energy is going up, 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 up. Keep your front leg straight, June. Yep. And reach your top arm up. This shouldn't feel terribly arduous. It will if you're trying to overreach and overstretch. You don't need to do that. Think about a musician. When they're playing their strings or blowing their horn, they're probably blowing 80%, not 100%. They're not exerting to the point where it's like, Think about that in yoga too. Think about 80%, not 100. Reaching up, the energy is up. You can feel this in your sacrum if you control the movement and the energy to go up. Now bend your front knee no further than your ankle. Reach that top arm up and then bring it over your ear so the palm is facing the floor. Use your bottom arm to keep pressing that front knee to the side of your mat so it's not collapsing in. Energy, remember last week we talked about pressing the pointer, the index finger mount into something hard and immovable. Press it, that top hand, press. Inhale, come on, up. Arms at shoulder height, exhale, lower your arms down and give your legs a good shake out. How's everyone's SI joints? We having a good time? Come on over now onto your tummies. Come on down. And if my sister's watching, thanks for the t-shirt, Mayor. We need more peace in the world. And peas, P-E-A-S. Good fiber, iron. Okay, come on down onto your tummies. Place your forehead on the floor. Your toes are pointing backwards. Slide your elbows underneath your shoulders, and your forearms are straight out in front. So back bends are definitely healthy for your SI joint. Toes are stretching backwards. Shoulders away from your ears, so you're not just lurching into this position. It's very active. Your shoulders pressing away from your ears. You'll feel your lats, your latissimus dorsi, big muscles that start near the top of your neck and come down and wrap around your rib cage. So shoulders moving away, neck gently, only gently curved. One more breath in. Exhale, lengthen as you lower. And bring your arms beside your body. Okay, Dhanurasana or bow pose. It's a very demanding posture. I'm not expecting anybody to do it, but I will show you the posture and then I'm going to give you your option. So in Dhanurasana or bow pose, we actually grab our ankles, and if you take your knees wide apart, so the option is going to be if it's too much for you to grab both, and sometimes the hamstring will cramp, as mine just did on the right side when I'm grabbing my legs, but take your legs wide apart. You're going to do only one at a time. And if you're doing one at a time, you're going to take one arm and bend it and place it at the front, and then you're just going to take one leg and lift up. You can lift your head up too if it feels okay, or leave it on the floor, whatever your choice is. So if you're going for both, and your hamstrings aren't cramping, so take your legs wide apart if you're going to try to do both, and you take hold of your ankles. And then the action here is to kick your legs back. That's what pulls you off the floor. Nice. So you're lifting your upper body. Kick your legs back like a wild horse. Nice. Great, everybody. Wow. Okay, that will do. Turn your head to the right. Bring your arms beside your body. Let your shoulders melt, big toes touch, and heels splay out. An enormously demanding posture. Now, we're focusing on the SI joint, but trust me, out of the 440 asanas, 36 of them are enormously beneficial. Dhanurasana or bow pose is in that hugely beneficial category, but it's not beneficial if it's hurting us. So if anybody was doing just one leg, then we need to do the other leg. However, for those of us doing both legs, we get to do it again. Yay. So the wider your legs are apart, the easier it is to do the posture. If you found it easy with your legs wide apart, then bring them together by all means. So take hold of your ankles or the opposite ankle that you had before. Remember, you're going to kick your legs back. That pulls your chest off the floor. Great, Junie. Look at that. She's up and at 'em. Up and at 'em. And yes, if you feel like rocking, you can. But you know, because we're focusing on the SI joint and not digestion, elimination, reproductive, we can just hold it. There's tech guy, he's got one leg up, beautiful. And breathe. Okay, great, everybody. Turn your head to the opposite side that you had it. Let your shoulders melt, big toes touch, heels splay out. And just spend a moment here, breathing. We're doing some great work for this joint. And yoga, of course, is about being proactive so that we can avoid problems. And I'm not going to tell you that yoga can solve your SI joint problems, but it can help. It can mitigate. But if you have a big problem, of course, you always want to see a professional. So in yoga, we have postures that are symmetrical, and we have postures that are asymmetrical. So if you just did one leg just now, then you were doing the asymmetrical. If you were doing both legs, you did symmetrical. So we're going to move into another symmetrical, just a small vinyasa. It's just two postures. We're going to go from plank to dog. And this is also strengthening for the SI joint. So come on up onto your knees. Now listen, for some of us, we may not want to be in plank. So that's your plank pose, right? Middle finger pointing forward, all fingers. But if that's too much, if you have a shoulder or wrist injury, then just stay on your knees, it's okay, and curl your toes under. So if you're, and by the way, if plank is too much, you could always still lift your knees off the floor and then straighten the legs and come up into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Organize, have a look at your feet here. They should be hip width apart, remember? Now, can we come back into plank or come into a soft little dog with the knees off the floor? But as I said, if that's too much for your shoulders or wrists, you're going to bring your knees right to the floor. So you're in some version of with your knees either on the floor, slightly off the floor, or you're in plank. And if you're in plank, draw your heart center towards your thumbs and then lift your hips up, coming into downward facing dog. And one more time, last time, plank pose or knees just hovering above the floor or knees on the floor, your choice. And I would rather your bum poking up than you sagging through your center, and come into your last dog. Ears inside of your arms. Press your sits bones towards the back of your mat, and then release your knees onto the floor. Take your knees as wide as your mat, big toes touch, and send your hips back towards your heels slowly. If a 90-degree bend on your knees isn't good for them, stay in your puppy pose. Keep your hips over your knees and release your forehead to the floor, or make a pillow by folding your arms or stacking your fists, whichever one works best. Lengthening your spine and quieting your mind. Inhale, come on up. And okay, so this is where the rubber hits the road. Come on onto your bums, because this is where we really get to focus on moving the pelvis with the spine. My sister loves all my papers out in front, not. Last week she said there was so much dust. I said, no, there wasn't. I washed the floor the night before. And she said, no, at my place. And as my carpet cleaner said once, I said, how dirty were the rugs? He says, if they weren't dirty, you weren't having fun. I like that answer. So that's what I said to my sister. If it wasn't dusty, you're not having fun. Okay, legs wide apart. Upavista Konasana, wide leg forward fold. So pull your flesh out from underneath your sits bones. I want you to feel really grounded. And then place your hands behind you and push yourself forward so you're really sitting up on your sits bones. Now, if you struggle to sit up fairly straight and you need a little lift, you can roll up the back of your mats and place it underneath your bum. It's going to help you bend. So remember, it doesn't matter how far you bend in this posture. It's about thinking about your pelvis twisting and moving with your spine. So inhale and sweep your arms up. So can you feel your sits bones? Because if you can't feel your sits bones and you're rounded back, please put something under your butt. Roll your mat up, press through your heels. Now, turn towards, I'll do the mirror image, turn towards your right leg. So now when we turn, it's not just the spine, the pelvis needs to turn too. You need to turn the pelvis. So inhale, reach up. Now, you might think your left sit bone's coming off the floor, but it's probably still in contact. Lifting up, exhale, reach forward. Don't worry about going down. Just think about reaching forward and stretching. Reaching and stretching. Inhale, sweep up, back into the center. Now lift up out of your waist. Lift and take that pelvis with you as you twist. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, forward folding. Don't worry about going too far. Really want you to think about, it's kind of like if you're a gardener, and I know many of you are, if you transplant a plant, you don't just pull the plant out of the soil, you bring the soil with it. So think about your pelvis as the soil that is part of your sacroiliac joint. Well, it totally is, because it's the ilium and the sacrum. Reaching up and inhale, come back to the center and lower your arms down. Now, this is where you may want to use a block, because we're going to fold the right leg. Again, I'm going to do the mirror, right leg into the center. So you may want to use a block if it's uncomfortable, if your knee's uncomfortable, out to the side. If it's really uncomfortable, you can instead of bringing the foot into the inside of your thigh, bring it to your knee. Be less uncomfortable on your knee if you're feeling that on your knee. So your left foot is straight out in front, and the right is bent, and the block is just here to support it if you feel like you need it. And again, if you're struggling to sit up straight after you use your hands to push you forward, and this is where you may want to bring the right side of your pelvis forward. Okay, so the leg that's straight out in front, bring that pelvis forward. And use the block if you need to support your leg, if that feels better. And if you have struggling to sit up straight, please roll the back of your mat, or just keep breathing deeply. And inhale, sweep the arms up, lifting up, reaching up. Exhale, forward fold. Once again, I don't care how far forward you go. I just want you to stretch through the SI. So when we're sitting, the SI joint, it's not locked anymore. It's only locked when we're standing, walking, stairs. Oh, and I don't want to forget, if you are not taking vitamin D yet, please start taking vitamin D. You need it for all kinds of reasons. We don't get enough sun this time of year. It doesn't give us what we need. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, release your arms down. Now, take the bent leg, bring that foot outside of the straight leg, right beside the knee. Interlock your fingers 2 inches below and bring your torso straight up towards your thigh. So your torso should be touching your thigh. Flex the foot of the straight leg. Once again, this is where we're going to really pay attention. You're going to place your right arm behind you. Inhale the left arm up. Twist. Take that pelvis with you as you twist. I would rather that you twist less and focus on the pelvis, and then that elbow can either come around the leg or outside of the knee, whatever works, or just place it wherever you like, but we use it to help us twist. But think about twisting. I used to talk about twisting from the bottom of the spine. So inhale, maybe you're going to come back to straight here. Exhale, twist, include your pelvis. Sitting up nice and tall. Hey, tech guy, I think you should be twisting the other way. Yeah. You should have a camera on tech guy, and then we can do the corrections. He's in the back room. Inhale, lift up through the crown. Exhale, release and counter twist to the other side. And then exhale as you come back to center. All righty. So straighten that bent leg and just bang out the back of the knee. And let's do the other side, Janu Shirshasana, so one leg in. So remember, you can place the foot high up if you're able to sit up straight and if your knee's happy like that. If it's not, A, you can use a block. B, you can bring your foot down by your knee. This is one of the few times you can press the sole of your foot into your knee. Okay, sitting up nice and tall. So your foot is right, not under your leg. Flex the foot of the straight leg. Sit up nice and straight, as tall as you can. You're going to feel your core engaging here. There's lots going on, but again, we're focusing on the happiness and healthiness of the SI. Inhale, sweep the arms up, reaching up, stretching up, and then moving forward. You're lengthening, you're leading with your hearts. There's a new slogan for the world. Lead with your heart. Not your egos, not so much your head when there's a problem. Lead with your heart. One more breath in, stretching, lengthening, releasing, and exhale. And come on back up, lower your arms, and then take the bent leg, bring the foot directly outside of your knee, and place the foot flat on the floor. Now, interlock your fingers below your knee and draw your torso up towards your thigh. Nice. Okay, now, place your left hand behind you. It's there to prop you up, to keep you nice and straight. Inhale. Right arm up, exhale. Again, you're twisting, taking the pelvis with you as you twist your spine. So the spine, the twist starts from the bottom and works its way up. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale. And remember, if you're feeling any pain, you need to listen to your bodies, back off. Do less or none at all. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release and counter twist to the other side. Exhale, come back to the center, unfold that leg and bang out the backs of your knees. Bringing the soles of your feet together. Now again, if you want, if it feels better, if you have any knee issues, you can use your blocks to support your knees because we're going to sit up, pull up nice and tall. And then have a look for where your strap is. Inhale, exhale, fold whatever amount you can forward. Yes, you're going to feel this in your inner thigh adductor muscles. Yes, it nourishes digestion, elimination, reproductive organs, and sexual glands. But we're doing some controlled stretching through the SI joint. Mindful, caring awareness. Inhale, come on back up. Okay. So this is pretty simple. What we're going to do with the strap is come on to our backs. And we're going to place the strap in such a way that you can press your heels. Press your heel. Once again, this is pressing the heels up. Now, I'm just going to show this for the video and the replay, but Viparita Karini is bringing your legs up against the wall and placing a block or a cushion underneath your behind. We don't have enough wall space here, but think of this posture as a reset. Your femur bones, and what we are doing right now is tantamount to a reset for your SI joints. But just getting your butt close to a wall at home, anytime your SI joints are feeling gnarly, aggravated, so you're pressing through your heels here. Heels are pressing. Yeah, you'll feel this in your hamstrings. There's always far more benefits to the things we're doing, but our focus today is on the sacroiliac joint. All righty, release your belts. Once again, place your hands underneath the backs of your thighs or roll over onto your side. We're going to come up for one balance posture. And actually, instead of balance, you know what? I'd prefer to do this. I think this is going to be more useful. So come onto your knees and bring your right foot forward and curl your back toes under. And then bring your left elbow to the outside of your left knee and open your palm. Open your palm. Bring the other hand on top into the mirror image. Now you can stay right here because once again, it's about twisting the pelvis. But if your back toes are curled under and you're ready to do this balance posture, lift your back knee off the floor. Focus your gaze on the floor. Focus your gaze. Now again, you need your toes here to anchor you. So press through your back heel. Focus your gaze on the floor. Twist from your pelvis all the way up your spine. And release your fingers to the floor. Step your back leg forward, and then step the other leg back and drop the knee to the mat. Bring your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Bring the other hand on top in prayer position. Look at your arms. They should be a mirror image of one another. One elbow is directly above the other. Palms are pressed together. Focus your gaze on the floor. Curl your back toes under. You can stay in this position. Please move your pelvis as you twist your spine. And if you wish to balance, lift that back knee off the floor and press through your heel. Press through your back heel. That will be the anchor of your posture. Release your hands to the floor. Let's turn sideways on the mat. Have your feet wide apart and your toes slightly pointing sideways. Fingertips tented on the ground. Let's lunge over to the right, bringing your right buttock towards your heel. You don't have to go all the way down. Inhale, up. Into the center, exhale over to the other side. Again, a nice stretch after the strengthening. Inhale, come back into the center. Your hands are tented underneath your face. Inhale and sweep your right arm up, reaching up, stretching up, maybe looking up. Your pelvis is twisting with your spine. Exhale, float it down. Inhale, sweep the other arm up. Make sure your pelvis is moving. It's not going to move a whole lot, but it's got to move. Exhale, float it down. Walk your feet in towards one another, and you're going to bring yourself into your final favorite posture, Shavasana. Except for those people out there that are antsy. You know who you are. Some of them are at home practicing, and they like walk away. I'm not doing Shavasana. So if you have an iPad, did you get your cover? Put the Kleenex on. Everyone has one. If you don't, I'll get one for you, or they're on the table. So placing your iPad cover over your eyes. Bring your legs together and let your feet splay out. Let your eyeballs sink into their sockets. Separate the biting surfaces of the teeth. Relax the jaw. And let your body be soft and heavy. This is where the body has the opportunity to integrate and absorb the benefits of what you have just done. Understanding how bones, ligaments, muscles work, give us insight into our most valuable possession, our bodies, our primary vehicle. Often we run around doing all our work with our poor bodies flapping behind us like old windsocks. And when we're pressed for time, our bodies are the first thing to get overlooked because we're over-responsible or over-needy, or we've got all kinds of excuses. My yoga teacher used to say we all have a PhD in excuse making. I have one, you may have one too. And you'll do your yoga tomorrow and you'll have a power bar for lunch and wonder why you don't feel as good as you could. During our time here on earth, we need our bodies more than they need us. Be good to your body. Say nice things to your body. Maybe even dress it up and take it out. Bring your awareness to your sacroiliac joints. There are two of them. Send them love. Thank them. They do a lot for you, and they deserve our love and appreciation. And not just lip service. And by practicing yoga, you're showing that love. Mindful, therapeutic yoga. Inhaling the life force, long, full, and deep. Let your belly rise, chest expand. Exhale, let go. Inhale, stretch your arms over behind your heads. Reach and stretch. Point feet far, flex and point, and drop your arms down by your side. Take your time to gently roll over onto your side, bending your knees, and use your bottom arm as a pillow. And when you're ready, press yourself back up into a seated position. And I'll invite you to chant Om Shanti 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 3 times to spread the peace. Shanti, of course, is Sanskrit for peace. So inhaling together. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace be with you, and namaste. Thanks, everybody. Any questions or comments are welcome. Be sure that you drink some water. And thanks again to Jennifer Foster for the request. If anybody has any requests, I mean, there's lots of little nooks and crannies we're going to